high school All-American. Tied for first place among names like Michael Jordan and Kevin Garnett, 9 times first team All-Defense. League MVP. Five times league champion. On January 22nd, 2006, he scored the second most points by a single player in a single game in NBA history.
One of the rookies, of course, at this point, hitting the wall halfway through. This is a double-double just about every night. Kobe is back. Hit him, little backdoor. Kobe scores on the slam. Yes, he does. Still 6.5 to play in the third. He pulls up for it. This would be 18 for 20 from the line and an 81-point game. 55 in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history.
And as of May 15th, 2021, Basketball Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations, Kobe Bryant. We love you and we miss you. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Soul Vice. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope you're all doing well out there. Today we are taking a look at a very, very special sneaker. This is the most current collaboration between Undefeated and Nike with the Kobe 5 Protro in the Hall of Fame colorway. Now, if by chance you are new around here, first of all, thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, but I want to let you know exactly how things are going to go. This is going to be an in-depth review. I'm going to let you know about every single detail I think you should know about before you decide whether or not this is a shoe you want to cop for yourself. Spoiler alert, you do want to cop these for yourself. And typically to go along with the review, you get on-feet footage and B-roll, but today there's no on-feet footage just yet, and that's because I ended up buying the wrong size, and I'll get to that a little bit later. When I get my size in the mail, because they are going to be on the way very soon here, I will give you guys a separate on-feet look at these. I really want to make sure that I do give you an on-feet look because these are just so incredible. But for today, you're just going to get a ton of B-roll to go along with it because I want you to get a really good idea of what these look like in person. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review. Now, starting off with the release itself, I want to give a huge shout out to Undefeated because they did an incredible job. This is probably the best raffle release I have ever seen. And I know you're probably thinking that I just thought it was a great raffle release because I caught a W, but I'm not joking when I tell you I saw more W's from this raffle release than any other raffle that I've seen in the past. They didn't stop giving out W's until this morning, April 16th. So all the way from the 11th through the 16th, they were sending out emails to people. So it seems like maybe there were a lot of pairs, but it also seems like Undefeated really did their due diligence to make sure they were giving W's to actual people instead of bots that were just gonna flip these, because this is a really important pair of shoes, and I know that they were probably really making sure that the actual people who wanted them for their collection were getting their hands on them. And a second huge shout out to Undefeated because I already have them in hand, which is insane. If you've ordered anything from Undefeated over probably the last year or so, I've literally had stuff take like a month to get to me, and they're just in LA. Like, I could drive to them and pick them up in like a half hour, but for whatever reason they were taking forever to get stuff to me. But this time I ordered them on the 12th and they were to my doorstep yesterday on the 14th, which I could not be happier. I'm so glad to have these in hand. So, well, for the collection, but also to do a review for you guys. Now, anytime packaging is unique or different than what we're used to, I do cover that. And this particular pair, I don't know exactly what's different about the packaging just because this is my first pair of Kobe 5 Protros. So forgive me if any of this is typical with Kobe 5s, but there are some obvious differences. So you get this nice gold glossy box. Up on the top, you've got the Nike swoosh with air branding. The eye, of course, is Kobe's logo. And then on the longer sides, you've got the Undefeated logo with Kobe's signature right over the top of it. And I think that looks super sick. And then on the front of the box, it is white, and then you've got a metallic gold kind of pull ring here. Now this is a pull-out style box, and once you open it, things get really cool. You've got this black tissue paper, and then all over the tissue paper, you've got a bunch of Kobe's accomplishments throughout his career, and we are gonna see those a little bit later. But overall, I think the packaging on these is a home run. All right, taking a look at the shoe itself, you can see that it is mostly a gold and purple colorway. It's a metallic gold to signify Kobe's accomplishment being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I just watched the ceremony yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I thought it was a really, really nice ceremony. But these, of course, being the Hall of Fame colorway, are really meant to signify that accomplishment. So the upper is done mostly in the gold color, but then down here on the midsole, you get this gradient where the midsole itself up at the top is like a glittery gold, and it just fades into that deep purple, which, being a Lakers fan, obviously I'm a huge fan of the colorway on these. On the left side of both shoes, you've got a red Nike swoosh that fades into a purple Nike swoosh. This is done in kind of like a flat or matte finish. And you've got all three of the numbers that he wore during his career. So you've got the number 24, of course, that he wore during the latter part of his career. The number 10 is the number that he wore during the Olympics. And then, of course, he started off his career in the number 8. I think it was a really cool way just to kind of show the entirety of his career as a professional basketball player. And then on the right side of both shoes, you've got a metallic purple Nike swoosh, and it's nice and glossy. And just everything about this shoe just screams like high class, and it just really kind of hits that vibe of the Hall of Fame. It just really looks like the pinnacle of everything that Kobe accomplished. Now, taking a look at the materials on the shoe, if we start here on the upper, you've got this knit material that kind of starts at the heel and makes its way all the way down to like kind of the midfoot area, and then starts again up here on the toe. And then for the rest of the shoe, you've got this kind of metallic gold snakeskin texture that kind of goes along the eyelets and works its way down to the midfoot area. And I just think this is such a sick detail. Anytime they can work snakeskin texture into it, I just think that that's a fantastic touch, and it almost feels incomplete without it. So just having it in that metallic gold, I could not be happier with the materials they used on the upper on these. And then the tongue is done in a black version of that same knit material from the rest of the shoe. On the left shoe up at the top, you've got a purple Undefeated logo. And then up at the top of the right shoe, you've got a purple Kobe logo. And then quickly taking a look at the back of the sneaker, you can see you've got the same mix match vibes going on here as well. Typically on the plastic heel counter, you've got Kobe's signature, but this time around on the right shoe, you've got the Undefeated strike through logo. And then on the left shoe, it says Air, using Kobe's logo as the eye. Now they come laced up out of the box with these gold flat laces that do have metal gold aglets here down at the tips, but they also come in the box with a purple pair as well. They do just have regular kind of plastic aglets. I think these purple laces would have looked super sick if they had the same metal gold aglets at the tips. I just think that would have been like, I don't know, the perfect mixture of purple and gold, and I probably would have chosen that as my lace option. But I think given that these actually have that metal aglet, I'll probably stick with the gold laces. Now there's also a really great detailing on the insole on these. On the left shoe, it's just a Nike logo with that same Kobe Air branding. But on the right shoe, we see that same list of accomplishments from the tissue paper in the box. Now there's plenty more to talk about with these, trust me, but really quick before we get there, if you've liked what you've seen so far, if you found the video helpful or entertaining in any way, do me a huge favor, like the video. That's gonna let YouTube know that people are enjoying the video, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every single time I post a new video, just like this one. All right, back to the review. Now moving down to the midsole, you can see you've got this gorgeous metallic glittery gold midsole that has this gradient fade into this deep Lakers purple. And I just think it looks so good. This is one of my favorite features of the shoe, just to have that smooth transition from the gold into the purple. Now, as far as materials go here, this is a little bit different than when the Kobe 5s first released. The Kobe 5s originally had a Phylon midsole, but since this is a Kobe 5 Protro, this is done in a Cushlon material. And that's actually not the only difference here when we're taking a look at the sole unit. So the original Kobe 5s had a Zoom Air unit up in the forefoot. That has been replaced with a Zoom Turbo unit. And then instead of having an air zoom unit here in the heel, they actually just got rid of that and went with the Cushlon, which from what I've seen from a couple of different reviews, it actually performs very, very similar to that air zoom unit that used to be in the heel. I don't play basketball or anything crazy like that, so I'm really not going to notice a difference, but I figured it was worth pointing out if you're somebody who is used to the original Kobe 5s. Now flipping this shoe over, going to the outsole is done in that same Lakers purple. You do have a gold Kobe logo here near the heel, and then in the center you can see you've got your carbon fiber shank plate. All right, now let's talk about the reason why I'm not going to be able to keep this particular pair of shoes, and that is sizing. I was not used to the sizing on Kobe 5, so I went with my true to size, but you have to know these fit extremely snug. So I would absolutely recommend, if you're somebody who just plans on wearing these casually, to make sure to at least go up a half size. I might even go up a full size on these. That's how snug they are. We'll see what size I end up going with in just a few days here when I actually end up purchasing the pair that I plan to keep for myself. Now, one of the reasons why I went true to size on the Kobe 5 was because I watched a lot of reviews for the Undefeated Kobe 4 Protro that came out quite a few years ago, and a lot of people said that they would go up a half size on those as well. But as you can see here, I've got my own pair and I went true to size on these, and I think they fit great. Maybe a little bit cramped in the pinky toe area, but other than that, I think these are a perfect fit true to size. And I really wouldn't recommend going up a size on these or up a half size unless you're somebody who has particularly wide feet. And I don't really put myself in that category. I think I have medium to slightly wider feet, and I still think the Kobe 5s are super snug. So I hope maybe if you're somebody who's tried on a Kobe 4 but not a Kobe 5, this will help give you some sort of a reference point. I would definitely recommend for pretty much everybody, unless you plan on hooping in these and you want a super snug fit, at least go up a half a size. If you've got wide feet, maybe even go up a full size on these. Now, I typically like to go over the comfort of a shoe, but unfortunately, since this isn't my true size and I haven't really had any significant amount of time to wear them, I can't give you my full opinion on comfort. However, I will say, just based on the materials that are used here in the midsole, I am expecting these to be a pretty comfortable shoe. My Kobe 4s are super comfortable, maybe some of the most comfortable Nikes that I have in my collection. So I wouldn't anticipate that these are going to be super far from it. I really can't see these being an uncomfortable shoe, but let me know down in the comments if you've tried on a pair of Kobe 5s what you think. I'm sorry I can't give you guys a more complete idea of what the comfort is if you've never tried one of these, but I just don't want to give you a half-baked opinion on that. All right, time to give these a final score. If you guys couldn't guess already, I'm gonna go ahead and give these a 10 out of 10. Now I recognize I might be a little bit biased, being a Laker fan and a Kobe fan and all of that, but I honestly think Undefeated did an incredible job on these. I think that the execution was excellent. They did a great job telling the story, paying homage, and giving congratulations to Kobe on his induction into the Hall of Fame. So 10 out of 10 all across the board. I have zero complaints about these. And I think if you're a Laker fan or a Kobe fan, these are a must-have in the collection. Now, resale prices on these right now are sitting right around the $500 to $700 range, depending on size. And I'm thinking that might go down a little bit as we see pairs start to go into circulation, since Nike just did their sneakers drop. So I'm hoping that will drop down a little bit. So if you end up wanting to cop these for yourself, I'm going to leave links down in the description for GOAT and for StockX as well, so you have some options. But I do think that these are a worthwhile pickup. All right, guys, with that, I will say go Lakers. Number one, go Lakers. Coming up on the playoffs, Wednesday, we've got the play-in game against the Warriors. I won't lie, I'm sweating a little bit when it comes to that game. It's not going to be an easy one, but I know we're going to get the job done. Also, as always, make sure to wear your kicks, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.